there such a thing as a good kind of problem? Because I haven't been posting much content and I've been pretty much non-existent on this platform lately. I mean, not that my existence matters at all because, no. But oh my god, I've been reading and working on my TBR so well, and also progressing nicely on my writing. Plus, I'm doing not so bad at work. So, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, my name is Dee, and I am obsessed with books and reading. So, today I just thought I would briefly chat about the status of my reading so far in the last couple of months, and also because I haven't been posting wrap-up videos in ages, so I thought we'd catch up. I am reading, I promise. Also, just to make this video a little bit more fun and engaging, because apart from raving and spazzing about books that really made an impact on me, one thing that I also really love doing is sharing those books to people and promoting reading as much as I can. So I'm gonna be doing a little bit of a giveaway. This unfortunately will only be open within the Philippines, and I will be announcing the winner at the end of July. Also, unfortunately, you would have to watch the entire video because I will be providing the instructions somewhere along this video so that I would know who's definitely interested in reading the book that I'm gonna be providing as prize for this giveaway. For the month of March, I admittedly had to take reading on the backseat temporarily because inspiration really hit me so hard, and I thought it was time to finally work on the plot that I've crafted. Since I typically avoid fiction novels during what I would call my writing season, I opted to just read poetry to keep the creative juices fired up, you know. And I've annotated these two books that I read in March. I've read Tuwing Nag-iisa sa Mapa ng Buntong Hininga by Paulo Miguel Tiausas, and this is a poetry collection that focuses mainly on solitude, but it also touched on several other topics which still complemented its overarching theme very strongly. Yes, it focuses on solitude, but it also talks a lot about the modern life in Metro Manila. It touched on many other subjects like politics, society, family, relationships, and it also touched on many, or alluded to many, media platforms like TV, film, music, the internet. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Highly recommended for single millennials like me who are occasionally feeling trapped in between the grandeurs and comforts and horrors, the nostalgia of our 90s past, and the brand new overwhelming dynamics of the 2000s. This captured it so well. The second book I've read in March is Ilang Sandaling Makalipas ang Huling Araw ng Mundo by Regan Romero Marquez. And I also really enjoyed this poetry collection since it talked a lot about the realities of the Filipino existence. This, however, I've given 3 out of 5 stars, and I'm thinking it's most likely my fault because my expectations are misplaced going in. I don't know if my expectations were misplaced because I felt like I didn't 100% get what was promised and hinted at by the title and the book cover design. Like, look at this book cover design. I guess I was looking forward to reading poetry that's somewhat healing and hopeful, and the pieces here are actually pretty grim and pessimistic, which is not wrong, by the way. Definitely not wrong. I was just expecting differently, that's why. But yeah, compared to this collection is more broad and vast in terms of topics and themes covered. So this one is more, I don't know, political, and this one is more personal. So it's just really a matter of preference, really. They're both really profound. Yeah, it's just that I resonated with this more compared to this one. For the month of April, I went low profile on writing again and unfortunately had a writing slump, so I thought I would take that time to get back to reading fiction again. And since I miss celebrating the Women's Month in March, I thought that for the month of April, I could still celebrate that and read books which features women character-centric titles and plot. First book I read for the month of April was The Lani of the Distant Sea by Erin Entrada Kelly, which ranks way up high on my highly anticipated reads for this year. And jeez, this is phenomenal. Best middle grade fantasy that I've read so far this year. The only thing odd to me, however, is how this is being acclaimed as a tribute to Filipino folklore, but I could not recall or recognize any of them. So I low-key feel like a fake Filipino. I don't know if they are historical reimaginings based on factual Philippine pre-colonial research, but yeah, I don't know any of the creatures or plot elements in this book. But nevertheless, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because of the sheer beauty of its lyrical writing. Writing here is so lyrical, you know, the kind that's so melodic and magical, something that reads and sounds like a lullaby. Also, wow, this is middle grade, but the plot tackled some things that are pretty grotesque and violent that may need some trigger warnings if we're viewing it on a middle grade perspective. Just, oh god, this is so empowering and refreshing and so beautifully written. Perfectly lives up to its stunning cover design. And this will definitely make me read more of Erin Entrada Kelly. Up next, the second book I've read in April is Frankie by Sivan Plaza. And hold on, let me just take a deep breath. I hate saying that I dislike books, okay? Because I take such special care selecting my book purchases and my TBR. So when a book lets me down, I really feel down, okay? I get it and I respect that the author really intends to write the protagonist to be really unlikable and moody, grungy and angsty, you know, mad at the world the way most teenagers really do. Sure. But save for like 2 chapters and some bits towards the ending. Everything about this book just reminded me why I have drifted away from the contemporary YA genre once upon a time. Listen, I understand that anger, just like any other emotions, needed representation. I really do. But I just hate how contemporary YA perpetuates and feeds the stereotype that anger is the only personality trait of teenagers. The youth is more than their rebelliousness. We can do better than this one-dimensional depiction. It's so frustrating to me how rudeness and meanness is being normalized as, you know, badass and cool behavior. No. Frankie, the protagonist, treats everyone around her like they're all beneath her. She's got a terrible childhood, sure, but in her present life, she's surrounded by these lovely people who constantly go out of their way to understand her and care for her. And all she does is, be condescending and sarcastic towards them, take them for granted, disappoint them so many times, and yet when they act the same way towards her, she feels entitled to call them out for their behavior. I'm so tired of trauma being used as a license to be a terrible human being. 2 out of 5 stars. The lowest rating that I have given so far this year. Sorry. Third book for the month of April is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. You know how there are some books that are so excellent that you cannot shut up about them? You could not stop talking about them to everyone you know? And then there are books that are so good that they just render you entirely speechless because it's so hard to put into words how much you love them. This book is both of that. That's how great it is. Don't you just love it when your battery betrays you and your camera just dies an inevitable death while you're in the middle of raving about one of the best books that you have read for the year? Anyways, as I was saying, yes, there are definitely books that leave you speechless because of how excellent they are, and at the same time also could not make you shut up because of how impactful the story is. This is what I feel about My Dark Vanessa. And you know what? Out of all the books that I haven't vlogged about this year, this is the one that I regret the most for not having documented. I'm so sad. That was such a stupid move. Why did I not vlog about how much of an emotional wreckage of a journey reading this has been? I feel so validated and happy because I think I said this on one of my book haul unboxing videos the beginning of this year when I talked about this book, that according to Shopee, this is my most expensive purchase. One of my most expensive purchases, at least, for the year 2021. I think this is nearly $1,000. There are apparently 2 editions on Fully Book, and I was not aware that there's a cheaper one. But anyways, I think it's because of the deckled edges. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't regret. Every centavo, every peso that went to this book is worth it because this is so powerful. Everything you've heard about this book, all the hype surrounding it, I would like to say 200% accurate. Believe them. Yes, this is definitely one of those books that are worth the hype. Please, I beg you, go ahead and get a copy and read. It's no question, of course, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. As a writer, this gave me such a significant and strong, resounding reminder how powerful literature can be, how evocative, how transforming it could be, because there are stories, there are experiences that haven't been told before that needed to be heard and known. Why have I not created an exclusive vlog for this book? I will regret it forever. The 4th and final book that I have read for the month of April was a classic that I've been dreaming of reading for such a long time. I can't even begin to tell you, but yeah. It's Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. you know what, it's so ironic because I think this by far is the shortest book that I have read this year. This is under 200 pages, 182 pages total. But to be completely honest, this is the book that took me the longest time to complete and finish because it's so difficult and challenging. I have annotated this book because the writing is stunning. I could take hours to read to you the beautiful passages, beautiful lines that are in this book. And the subject matters that were discussed here, I would say they're way ahead of their time because, if I'm not mistaken, this is published around 1925, 1920s. And yeah, it's so bold, so intriguing, and so complex. So I admire Virginia Woolf for that, for sure. But yeah, there were so many moments though when it got really, really hard to determine who is talking because the pronouns are all over the place and the narrative style is stream consciousness. I usually like stream of consciousness, but the lines here are sometimes so long and so meandering that my mind has already wandered so far away before I even get to the end of a sentence. So it's really difficult. Low-key proving that my fear of classics is somehow correct and not entirely unreasonable because they're so intimidating for real. There were several moments when I really contemplated just giving it 3 out of 5 stars, but I'm still giving it a 4 ultimately because of how rich with personality the writing style is. And I totally get and understand why this is considered a timeless work of literature. For the month of May, the BookTube community celebrated Asian Heritage Month, and this is something that I've been dying to participate in. So, of course, I'm really looking forward to picking up titles that were written by Asian authors. And guess what? Definitely, this is one of my best months of 2022. First book that I've read in May was Tall Story by Candy Gourlay. And to be completely honest, this is not really my first original pick for the Asian Readathon, but I still went for this because of how long it took me to complete and finish reading Mrs. Dalloway. So I thought I needed something light and quick to finish, and you know, the middle grade fluff feel good sort of stuff read, so I went for this one. Or so I thought. Lo and behold, my biggest surprise of the year. This book. First and foremost, do not be deceived by the title and the book cover design. This is not middle grade. This is Filipino contemporary YA. Listen, remember the rant that I just did for Frankie? Tall Story totally redeemed the YA, the contemporary YA genre for me just when I am already on the verge of having enough of it this year. Tall Story really told me, hold up, let me do the reparations for you. Tall Story is a very strong 5-star read for me, very fun and very compelling, and in my opinion, its biggest success and strength is proving that, hey, you don't always have to resort or make your teenage characters uber unlikable just for them to be considered complex. they can be nice, they can be well-mannered, and they can still be profound and delightful to root for. Yes, it's possible. Now, this is honestly the book that prompted the urge to open a giveaway because I really want to share this with people. So, I really wanted this to be the prize. But, since I understand that we all have different preferences when it comes to reading, you know, and I respect that, I am making the giveaway with a variety of choices. So in respect of that, I'm giving the giveaway more liberty for preference and choice. And this is exactly the reason why I asked you to read throughout the entire video, because I am making the giveaway winner select any one of the books that I mentioned throughout this video. I am making them, or giving them, the option to select one as their chosen prize. Yes, any one of the books that I mentioned in this video is up for grabs. And as mentioned, I will be declaring or announcing the winner by the end of July. Now, how can you enter and how can you win? It'll be amazing if you could subscribe to this channel so that we can be friends. And also, if you could like this video and comment down below with an exchange recommendation for me, depending on the choice of book that you have selected from this video that I did. So for example, if you were choosing Tolstoy as your prize, if this is the book that you'd like to get a copy of, then give me a contemporary YA recommendation. Can you comment more than once? Yes, you can. I will be using an online roulette to pick the winner, so the more entries, yes, the more chances of winning, as cliche says. Second Asian book that I read for the month of May is 20 Fragments of a Ravenous Youth by Xiao Luguo. And this is a literary fiction coming-of-age story about a girl who left her small town in order to venture for a career in show business in Beijing. I think I may be wrong, but I think out of all the books that I have read so far in 2022, this has the protagonist that I resonated with the most. Not really, I don't really identify with her personality or her beliefs. I just meant that I really like her perspective on pursuing writing, or the chapters on this book where she talked about it, and it's the majority of this book. And just like Salamanca by Dean Francis Alfaro, which is one of my best books of 2022 as well, there's a portion here that is devoted to a sample of her writing, a manuscript of her screenplay for a movie, I think, and I love it. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend this for anyone who might be afraid of approaching literary fiction. This is very accessible. The writing is not really that scary or hard to comprehend, so definitely if you want to be into literary fiction, you can start with this. Highly recommend. My final book for the month of May for the Asian Readathon is The Year of the Runaways by Sunji Sahota. And as you can see, this is shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2015. And this is a massive doorstopper of a book. So I was really scared to begin this. I was very apprehensive on selecting this, but I have learned so much from this book. Is it worth it to be shortlisted? Yes. It's so good. Just like this one, I highly recommend this as well for anyone who is scared of approaching literary fiction. This is also something that you could easily read. It might not be at first because there are a lot of Indian words that are not translated. And honestly, some people don't like that when there are a lot of foreign words that are not explained. So you can't really understand the context. But I encountered the same thing here in The Luminaries, and that won the Man Booker Prize in 2013. So I don't know. I guess it's just so respectful when they make a statement that they don't owe you any explanation of what the word means. Go ahead and look for it yourself. I was so scared to pick this up, but it's such a rewarding read because I have learned so much about India and their caste system and how their society works. I wouldn't say that this is a multi-generational tale because the four main characters, the four protagonists of this story, are all the same ages. But it's so interesting because the four of them are from four different, I would say, different caste, in their caste structure, the caste hierarchy. It's so interesting. They come from different sectors of society. I would say in terms of economic classification, one is from the upper class, one is from the middle class, and one from the lower class, and what are considered chamar or outcasts. Every now and then I would stop and pause and just talk to my siblings, my family about it, because the circumstances that happen in this book are so intriguing, and I can't stop talking about it to my family because of how much I learned, how enriching the text is. In terms of writing, this might not be full of writing quotations or passages that you can provide as an example for beautiful writing. It's not lyrical at all. But if we're talking about plot, this is a real winner. This is the very definition of when you say that a book is transporting, because this really took me to places that I haven't imagined I will be on. 5 out of 5 stars. And these are the books that I have read for the months of March to May. Thank you so much for spending time with me and watching this book chat video. I hope you're also having an amazing year in 2022. Good luck for those who want to win this giveaway. Have a good summer. Bye.